going to get you to graduate. And that's the end goal. So that kind of moderate routine that is fast enough to keep you going, but not too fast to break you and to burn you out.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another video on Tea Time with Letitia. In today's video, I am drinking, so actually this is like one of those specialty teas. It's like, I don't know if y'all can see it, it's a bit of a glare, but Celebrate with a Cuppa Cake. It is a blend of premium green rooibos tea with lemon, vanilla, and coconut, and it smells heavenly, y'all. Like, I just wish y'all could smell this because it smells so good. But 2 facts about rooibos and its benefits is that, 1, it is a caffeine-free alternative to black tea and green tea. And then also it's claimed that, you know, it can help prevent heart disease, stroke, and cancers. So try rooibos. I did have it once, just rooibos by itself, and I didn't really like it, but I really do enjoy it when it's mixed with the lemon and the vanilla. It smells amazing. So in this video, I have with me a guest, and I am going to let him introduce himself and his tea.
All right, thank you. So my name is Cody Gonzalez. I'm a PhD candidate at Penn State University. I'm in the mechanical engineering department, and I'm happy to be here. As for my tea, I'd like to first focus on my mug, Gryffindor, the best house.
Love it, love it. I've never done the test to figure out what house I was in, but before the test existed, I just always said I was in Gryffindor.
Well, obviously you're in the best house then. So as for the tea itself, I have an apple cinnamon blend. As for what I've seen, I think it's been great in terms of the olfactory senses. I'm really enjoying the smell, but it's as mostly the benefit from cinnamon. It has full of antioxidants and potentially good for heart disease or lowering cholesterol. So good for managing those stress hormones and whatnot in grad school.
Yes, that is something that we all need. So in today's video, I am going to have a conversation with Cody about routines and how his routine has changed as a graduate student, and just, you know, I guess the importance of a routine and actually taking the time to change it up at different points in times, depending upon what's going on in your life. So we're gonna start off and just like, so Cody, what was your routine when you first started grad school?
My routine was dictated by classes. So first semester of grad school, just going from class to class, and pretty much everything was dictated by classes. There was no natural order to it. I'm normally a night person, so it's rather difficult when you have an 8 a.m. or you have morning classes and you don't get to be productive during the times you want to be productive. So classes very much dictated how I moved and how I worked.
So getting outside of the classes, it sounds like, so I'm a morning person. So 8 a.m., like I'm good to go, rare, my brain is ready. But as you were saying that, it made me think, well, I guess that isn't fair to people who are night owls, who I honestly don't understand, because I am ready to go to bed when the sun goes down. So when you were able to be more flexible with your routine, right? So when you had more control over your routine, how did that change, how did that impact you?
So I think as in grad school, as we progress through it, we get to the point where we've taken enough classes and we're well-founded in our subjects, and we get that freedom of movement that comes from not having many classes or no classes. And so it's freed up my schedule to more follow my natural rhythms, my natural cycles through the day. And so I'm able to work a lot more at night and a lot more in the evenings. And I think that's made me quite a bit more productive. It's made me find the best time of the day that I feel that I write. when I'm most creative, and when the words flow most naturally. So I think the freedom of choosing my own schedule or choosing my own cycles helps me as a productive individual.
I absolutely love that you brought that up and just like following your natural cycle.
Mhm.
Maybe, I think maybe my second or going into my third year, I actually stopped using an alarm clock
Mhm.
just because I didn't have to get up to get to classes. Like I was at that point where I was setting my own schedule.
Mhm.
And so I really started to dig into, what worked for me
Mhm.
and what didn't work for me, which is like how I know I am a morning person because, yeah, I do most of my work within the first 4 hours of the day. And then after that, it's kind of like very spotty how productive I am. So, what does your routine look like now?
So I've learned that would never claim to be a morning person. One thing that helps me get up earlier, maybe not your 8 a.m. or your 5 a.m. as you were talking about, but your 9, your 10, a little bit more of a late morning start. Um, get up to the sunrise or the sunshine through the window, and that's a very kind of nice way to wake up in the morning to be productive. Um, I'll usually go for pickup for lunch or an early breakfast, and then I'll start to work writing. And then I do that for, yeah, about 4 hours, I think is the longest I can kind of maintain the productivity streak before I then take a break and go running and exercise for about an hour to clear my head. And then once my head is a bit more cleared and I'm kind of winded and tired, it makes it a lot easier to do edits in the evening and in the late night.
Huh. So you write in the morning and then you come and edit what you've written in the morning and the evening.
Yeah, I find that kind of the drafting it very roughly and then refining it in the evening kind of allows a 1-2 punch for the whole day.
Yeah, it does. It does. Um, yeah, I don't know. That sounds like the best thing to do, right? Because you're constantly in this cycle of writing and editing and it becomes a routine. I just cannot pick up on that though. Like I'll maybe write one day and then the next day come back and edit, or maybe like write 2 days in a row and then come back and edit some other time. But I really, going back to just talking about routines though,
Mhm.
it sounds like you have a pretty solid, flow of getting into the work, taking a break, and then getting into the work again. That was something that you just naturally flowed into finding, or did you get any advice on that?
I think it's been a result of kind of being cooped up, and
Mm.
I wake up and I stress about needing to do the work, and as a proactive step to getting rid of that stress is just dive into the work, dive into the either the writing, or oftentimes I'll do my coding or my lab work. I'll do something um, that is creative or that creates something during the day, and then I get tired and I use the exercise as a kind of natural break to to get all the good hormones, good things, good chemicals flowing, so I can then kind of continue the work. And it's kind of been a result of the pandemic and needing to develop a structure.
That's interesting. So, well, actually, no, I do understand it. I was gonna ask, so you had a structure before the pandemic and before, we were on this stay-at-home order. And then I'm guessing you went through a phase where you didn't really have a structure. and then you developed a new structure?
It's interesting you say that because looking back on it, I didn't really have a proactive structure. I had, before it was a reactive structure. So I would wake up because there's a meeting. I would wake up because there's a particular class to attend. There was a reason to wake up at a particular time, and it was reactive to something that was happening around me. And then I would squeeze in work where I could, in between classes, in between meetings, always looking to the next deadline. And so I'm working towards my comprehensive exams in grad school. So I'm writing a dissertation proposal on everything I've worked on and everything I will work on. And so it's tens of pages, going on 100 pages of just constant writing. And I don't think that would be possible without some sort of routine that's focused on the work instead of focused on proactive work rather than reactive work.
I don't think I've ever heard like, you know, getting a routine or getting to like a structure being described as reactive versus proactive. I think that, well, one, for me, that is just something that's new because I've always been one to, like, even my first year when I started taking classes, I would get to campus at like 7:30 a.m. and my class wasn't until 9. So I would just go to the library and either read emails or study or something like that. So like that's interesting. I guess in your terms, I guess I've always had a proactive structure or a proactive routine. So which one do you prefer? Like, do you prefer being more reactive or do you actually enjoy the proactive?
So I think reactive is my comfort zone. Like reactive is kind of where I've always been, but I don't think that's as productive as the proactive version. So getting, like you said, I don't think I'll ever do it, but it sounds like a great idea to go into lab or go into the library an hour or two before meetings and work. But I think proactive has been healthier, if not where I choose to lie for comfort.
Do you have any autonomy over, so wait, you said you're not taking classes anymore right now?
Yep.
You are.
I'm not taking any classes.
Oh, you're not taking classes. Okay, so do you have like more autonomy to continue this, like your own version of a proactive schedule, though like it wouldn't be you starting at 7 in the morning. It may look like, you know, you're starting at 10. Like what you just said that you've been doing now where you get up right around like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and then you do work and then you run and then you do more work. Do you see that continuing or do you think that it will change again when we go back?
So because I'll be doing my comprehensives and I'll be officially kind of not having any classes, I can see it continuing quite a bit. One issue or something that's come up is with my advisors is when the meetings are scheduled. Because in the past, I've had to be reactive because my normal schedule has me up at 9 or 10, but then or even 11, but if my advisor wants to have a meeting at 9 or 8 or some early in the morning, I kind of can't choose to be proactive to my schedule or to my cycles. And so I can't work late into the night if I have an 8 a.m. Morning meeting or 9 a.m. meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and I've conversed with my advisors about it, and sometimes the meetings tend to be a little bit later, but that I hope to be proactive as we slowly move post-COVID.
Hmm. Well, it's nice that, you know, you're able to have that conversation with your advisors and, get them to push back the meetings a little bit later?
Sometimes. It depends on the day, I suppose.
You win some, you lose some, right?
hmm
Is there any other information or tips you would like to share about having routines or being a graduate student in graduate school?
So I think it's important to find your own routine. So not everybody's a morning person or a night owl. Um, everybody has their own cycles, their own rhythm to work. And I think it's very important for you to, at least for grad school, to have that open conversation with your advisors to find I am most productive during this time, and that being productive is the best thing for you and your advisors because they get more names on papers and they get more work out of you, more bang for their buck, so to speak. And so I think finding a routine and finding some way to keep being productive, even as other habits or other things get in the way, I think a routine, or at least a routine to aim for, may help you be more productive in grad school.
I like that you said to aim for. I have a routine, though I've changed my routine like 3, 4 times at this point. But I just got to a point to where it's not my goal to make sure that I follow this routine to the T.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so a place to go if I get off track. If I get off balance or I've gone a week and I haven't been productive, I can look to this routine where I was being productive, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me just start here and then figure out, if this still works for me or if I need to change something, because clearly I got off track because this current routine wasn't completely working for me.
Yeah.
So I need to do some reevaluation.
Yeah, I think it's a guideline. It's somewhere to retreat to and be productive again, because we all have off weeks, and there's some times where the words just won't come when you're writing, or the code doesn't work, and so it's a place to come back to. And I think it's also important because the kind of the lowest energy state of a grad student, I suppose, is doing nothing. If you'll bear with me for a metaphor and an analogy, is so there's the grad student that does nothing or just kind of the lowest state, and then there's the sprinting grad student or even postdoc that just keeps going. The workaholic never stops, and both states are not tenable. One will not get you through grad school or will get you productive, and the other will break you before you get through grad school. And so I think there's that middle ground and that moderate ground where sometimes you have to be the grad student that does nothing. You have to take that time off, but that's not going to get you to graduate. And that's the end goal. So that kind of moderate routine that is fast enough to keep you going, but not too fast to break you and to burn you out.
I completely agree. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with having a routine in grad school and what that looks like. I think that more people should consider a routine, even if they are night owls, even if they are more reactive than proactive. Still think about a way that you can create some normalization to your life, and hopefully you experience the same productivity that Cody said he experienced.
Yes, thank you for having me, Letitia. I've enjoyed this.